All right. Perfect. Looks like we have everything ready. Looks like everything is up and ready. Oops. So, hi, everyone. Welcome to today's live Q&A, all about orientation here at UNH. So if you have any questions at all about what orientation is like, we both do have some staff members here at UNH to talk about UNH, but we do also have that student element as well. So I'll start first. My name is Noah. I'm a junior communication major with a minor in English. And yeah, I remember my orientation as a first year student, but we are here joined also by MJ and Becca, and Becca, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, we can kind of go around. So
yeah, sure. So hi, I'm Rebecca. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm from Southington, Connecticut. I'm a junior mechanical engineering student. And I was an orientation leader last year. So I was actually getting ahead, but MJ was a freshman who went through orientation last year, and I was one of the orientation leaders for that. And I also went through 2-day orientation, which was before COVID, which they will be offering this year as well. So I can speak to that.
Hi, like Rebecca said, I am a freshman, so I went through orientation last year, but my name is MJ. I'm an analytical economics and statistics double major, and I have a minor in political science. I am a first year. I am going to be an orientation leader this summer, so if there are like admitted students here, please say hi to me, because I could possibly be your orientation leader, and if not, just still say hi to me. And so I went through orientation last year, so I have that experience, and then I will be giving orientations this summer. So, yeah.
Great. My name is Chessa Blaya. I'm one of the associate directors of admission. I oversee communications and also do a lot to support the new student programs as well. Thank you for joining us today.
Awesome. Great. Well, yeah, thanks everyone for joining us today. I guess we can start with the students, kind of just do like an overview of what is orientation. Just like, yeah. Yeah, back up if you want to.
Wait, can you just say that over again? It was a little.
Yeah, sorry, no problem. Everybody, what is orientation? I just want to go like kind of do like a rundown and like what orientation is all about. Like what are kind of, yeah, like what is orientation and how does it differ from like the other events that like admitted students day and stuff like that? So
yeah, so essentially you do get more of an in-depth look at campus as a whole. You also do you'll be put into small groups. Last year they were groups of 12. They may be bigger or smaller this coming year, but so you get introduced to a whole group of people that are going to be in your class who are also attending UNH. You may possibly be able to meet your roommate that you're living with or meet someone that you want to room with. And it's sort of just like making connections ahead of time while also sort of like easing you into the process of going to college, since you won't be staying the entire semester. You're just going to be staying for a little snapshot, and it sort of gives you a little bit more comfortability in living away from home.
Yeah, so my experience speaking to like being an orientee last year, like a freshman coming in, I found it really helpful to meet people who are like in my class, and I still talk to those people. And a lot of my friends will also have friends from orientation. So it's a great way to like meet people, even if they're not in your major, and like still be able to hang out with them during school year. It made me feel really excited for college mostly, and like more comfortable because I met people and I got to feel campus. You get to try dining hall food. There is like an overnight option this year. I didn't take part in that last year because of COVID, but that will be nice to like kind of get like a feel of a dorm room before you're actually like there. It's really just a great way to kind of like get more comfortable on campus. And I'm really excited to help like help everyone meet each other, and you play like icebreaker games, and you get to see like whatever college you're in, like the academic building for it. So it's really cool, and UNH is awesome, especially in the summer. So it's a really pretty place to be. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember coming as a freshman, I did one of the 2-day programs. And from coming from Pennsylvania, I didn't know anybody when I was coming here to UNH. And I remember doing, the 2-day program, and just meeting the guys I lived with. I lived in a triple. I was like, this was really cool. And there were 2 other guys, and I met them, and we made like a little friend group with some other people. And it's like a small group of us. And for me, it really just like, this is what UNH was all about. And it really helped me feel like I'm really like a wildcat now. And I really feel like this is where I want to spend, my next 4 years. And I really just made me just so excited for the upcoming fall. So great.
I'm also from out of state. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. And it also was really awesome to meet people that like are going to UNH, because I knew no one, and I like didn't even really know my roommate. So that was really cool to be able to meet some.
Apparently I'm at home being with all of people who are from out of state, because I'm from Connecticut, which surprisingly is the closest place out of us.
Yeah. Awesome. Great. Oh, so we do have a question in the chat. This is more so freshman year. But knowing what you know now, how would you relive your freshman year differently at UNH? So I can kind of answer that. Honestly, there's not really much that I would do. My freshman year, I really tried to push myself as much as possible. Like in high school, I wasn't a part of any clubs or like organizations or extracurriculars. But once I got to school, I saw how many there were, and I was like, I really can get involved here. And I saw like it was an advertisement, like someone written in chalk of advertising the tour program, and I got involved with that. And so really just getting involved with that. My friends are like, oh, do you want to see this show performing in our student union building? I'd be like, absolutely, I want to see that. So there's not really much I would change. Honestly, I don't think I would change anything. I really just was able to, meet a great group of people, and really just get involved with the events that I wanted to do. So
I don't really have like the hindsight, because I'm still a freshman, and so I don't really have much of like time has passed and it's like I wish I did things different. But all in all, there's honestly, UNH is like my favorite place to be, and I'm really happy here. That's why I do stuff like this. So there aren't things where I regret. I would maybe just try to be on top of like keeping my half of the room clean the first semester, but I got involved a little bit first semester, and I mainly focused on like getting comfortable in college. And so second semester, I did things like I joined the tour program, I applied for some research opportunities, and I rushed the community service rat. And I'm like very happy with my timing and all that, because just getting acclimated and used to things. Maybe I'll have a different answer like in a few years, but honestly, just like getting involved and being comfortable being yourself. I found that the biggest thing here is I didn't have to like try to be someone different, because all my friends liked me for who I was, and that was really nice.
So yeah, freshman year, definitely it's interesting, and a lot of things definitely do happen, but just remember that college is a 4-year experience. Like you don't have to do, if there's something you miss out in freshman year, you have sophomore, junior, and senior year. You don't have to be like in this big rush to do everything. So great. So we do have another question, just that you might have a better response. Someone asked, if I'm unable to attend the June orientation, are there any alternative dates, either online or at a later date?
Yeah, so as of now, there is not an virtual option. They are all in person, but I believe there may be some kind of option that will become available over the summer. I don't know for a fact, but orientation is something that we strongly encourage students to take advantage of. And so I would recommend that you stay in touch and keep monitoring your emails for updates.
Great, thank you.
Actually, I should also say that if you're an enrolled student, you should start checking your UNH Wildcat email also, because emails are being sent to both the email that you listed on your common application, but also your UNH email.
I was going to say that if you are like feasibly able to, I highly encourage you to go to like physical in-person orientation. We did have an option last year for virtual, and there wasn't a whole lot of engagement with students. And while it was good for getting information out and things like that, what we really do like to focus on is more like the acclimating and the social aspect of it, which you probably won't get online. If you don't want that part of it for some reason, totally valid, but at least if you can, really consider it.
Yeah, just adding on to that, yeah, definitely in person was just really, you do make those like connections, and even if you don't really talk with those people like ever again, you just really get that initial like, these are what people, these are what students are like. Great. So we do have another question, and they ask, is class registration part of orientation? So yeah, I can kind of touch about this a little bit. Yeah, class registration, at least it was for me, might have been different for you guys, but for me, I met my advisor. Actually, I met with my advisor, and there was a student working with her, and they kind of just went over the whole like advising process and what class registration was like. And then during that day, it was like a group people with similar majors as me, and we all just like kind of looked over the list of classes, and that's how I wrote down all my classes I want to take, and then it just got processed from there. But yeah, I was really able to kind of see like who are going to be in my classes and stuff like that.
So when you register for orientation, there's actually going to be a survey asking about your classes, AP tests that you may have taken. And so you'll want to complete this survey because that helps the academic advisors when they're meeting with you to kind of go through your classes for fall.
Great. Thank you. Awesome. Did anybody, did either you, MJ, or Becca have like a similar experience? Was yours similar to that, or?
For me, I came in and most of my like first year classes were kind of already determined just because of like coming in to the business school. But I did have some flexibility. I got to choose what discoveries I wanted to take, and I got to like select what honors course I wanted to take as I'm part of the honors program. But I did get to meet with my advisors, and I found that really helpful. And then also I was just in a whole room with people who were all in Paul, and we we're all like, wow, let's take this random discovery together. So that was kind of cool. And that kind of made like orientation have like a bit of a lasting impact in addition to just like the meeting people.
Great. Yeah. So no matter like, I don't think it definitely does vary, by college division, but whatever it is, you'll definitely will get some sense of what the classes you're going to be taking when you're at orientation. You'll be able to really plan that down. So we do have a couple more questions coming up. Someone asked, how is orientation different for transfer students? Is there?
Ooh, I do have an answer for this.
Great.
So essentially, it is almost exactly the same, except that we do have people who are either non-traditional students, so you may like meet people who are a lot older than you, or who possibly were in the military or different things like that are not standardly coming from high school to college. That was the main difference that I noticed personally. I met a lot of people who are coming to UNH who possibly were parents and things like that. But the general setup for the day will be pretty much the same. We try to still have like that whole feel of like becoming a wildcat and everything like that. So we don't really differ that. Your meeting with your advisor possibly will be different, just to talk about like transfer credits and things like that. But a lot of feedback that I've gotten is trying to make sure that there is still that similar sense. Actually, I had a all virtual transfer group as well last year, and one of them ended up being one of my residents because I am an RA at UNH, and that was a big thing that they really liked, was being with other transfer students.
Sweet. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, so I'm looking, and there are, so for transfer students who are coming, and so for transfer students who are coming like in the College of Liberal Arts, there's a 1-day session coming up here like on June 30th. So great. So great. So I guess our next question, next question is this is more geared towards you, Becca, and MJ, but it's like, how do you really get the student to get to know each other? Like how do you really get them to like get to know each other and really like get them to mix and mingle and really just get that UNH experience?
I have from my point of view, last summer when I was here as an orientee, it was kind of just, in the beginning, it was a little bit of like, not forced, but just situational. You're all there together and you all know no one. So everyone's like, oh, hey, I'm MJ, nice to meet you. But then as like the orientation begun, and then like this is also the part that I'm preparing for as an orientation leader this summer, you do some fun like icebreakers. I'm trying to plan some really cool ones so that they're not like typical, because also I'm going to have to like facilitate a lot of icebreakers. So I'm trying to make some fun ones, but you do those like stereotypical ways to meet people. But genuinely, it's just like you're spending the whole day with these people and you're all doing stuff together. So there's just like things that come naturally in conversation. And if things don't come naturally in conversation, in my experience, your orientation leader is normally a pretty sociable person and will kind of create a natural conversation. And Rebecca probably has like ways to speak on that in like how she firsthand did it, especially because I was more of an outgoing person. So I didn't really have trouble like just showing up and being like, hey. So
I definitely agree with everything that MJ just said. To be like a little bit more specific, I know there were some days where I would have groups that were more quiet, and you kind of have to either just be okay with like filling in the silence, or like giving them prompts of like what to talk about. I remember I would always start off all of my days by saying that we like to be in our yellow zone. So we're a little bit uncomfortable. We're meeting new people. We're having new conversations. As long as you're not incredibly uncomfortable, that's where we want to be. So, and I would always mention how, and this also happens when I give tours as well, that I'm a chatty person and I will just keep talking to you. So it'll be a lot less weird if you keep talking back. And sort of like kind of breaking that like silence in the beginning, especially because you are spending like the whole day together.
So we do have a social media group as well for students who are joining us in the fall. If you want to follow us on Instagram, it's at BAUNH Wildcat. So there is a new group that's created specifically for students who will be joining us in the fall. That's a great way for you to kind of connect with your classmates, future classmates as well. So that's one thing I would throw out there as well.
I also like piggybacking off of that, social media, something I recommend on every tour I do and every event like this is we have this, there's a UNH 2026 Instagram. I'm not a Facebook gal. My mom was really good at Facebook and I'm not. So I use the Instagram. That's actually how I found my roommate, is my UNH 2025 Instagram. But I highly recommend like following the UNH 2026 Instagram. And then when they post, it'll be like people who are in your class coming to UNH, or at least like highly considering UNH. And I found that helped me so much. Coming from Ohio, I knew no one. So I found so many people on there that I was like, they're cool. And I would like DM them on Instagram and kind of like started conversations with them. So when I was coming to orientation and when I was coming here for school, I like knew some people that I was like, I would love to hang out with them. And I highly recommend that. That is, I think, the best thing I did before coming here, like for me personally, to make me feel comfortable. So please use. Also, I followed Instagram, the 2026 one now, and I'm doing the same thing. And I'm DMing incoming freshmen. And I'm like, let's hang out when you get here, or say hi to me at orientation, because people seem fun and I love making friends.
Yeah, orientation is really just a great way to Yeah, it's when you really become like a wow, kind of the best way to just be a student. And um, so great. So awesome. So we do have another question uh, coming from the chat, and this says, "What day do freshmen actually move in?" And so, for this year, I'm not exactly sure the exact date of this year. So freshmen always do move in a little bit earlier than all the other, the upperclassmen, like the sophomores and above. And there are also a general number of different like early move-in programs. I haven't really done any of those. I'm not sure if any of you guys done like an early move-in program. But no matter what that date is, it'll always be earlier than just like the other students. So
I did an early move-in program. I did one for the business school, and if you're able to do an early move-in program, I highly recommend it. I know there's one Proves, which is all about like community service and community outreach, and there's like Connect, which promotes diversity and inclusivity, and just giving a great community. I highly recommend if you can do an early move-in program, do it, because it's like just you and the people that moved in early with you. So it's like a very small cohort, and it's a great way to make friends. And I made like my bestest friends. Like my friend group now is all the people that we moved in together for the business scholars program. So if anyone's a Paul Scholar, that's the one I did. So move in early. It's super fun.
It's usually the last weekend, August. Yeah, last Friday in August. And so it's good because first year students get to move in before the rest of the students move in onto campus.
Just to like add a little bit to that, they put out plenty of activities that weekend too. So if you're like feeling a little bit like worried about making sure that like you have things to do or things like that, you will have plenty to do, and it'll be a really good opportunity to talk to a lot of new people as well.
awesome. Great. So we have another question. This is more so about just like freshman year in general, but do you recommend that to live in freshman housing, like the freshman only dorm? So maybe like Williamson or Christensen. Uh, for me, in my experience, I did live in a freshman only dorm. I did live in Williamson my freshman year. I definitely did have a very positive experience. For me, I definitely knew I wanted that experience where it's like everybody around me, like we're all in the same boat, we're all first year students. I really enjoyed that. I do know people, who did live like with upperclassmen in their freshman year, and they had a really positive experience doing that. So I am definitely a big like I loved living in a freshman only dorm. It really was able to help me get like my feet like on the ground. And so if that is a route you want to go down, I recommend it.
I did live in a mixed level dorm my freshman year. I lived in Hubbard, which is the honors dorm, and they also have a SEPS floor, which is our College of Engineering and Physical Sciences. I do know a lot of people who had a great experience in freshman only housing. So that is definitely something to consider. Also, I know that you'll normally hear about Williamson and Christensen. There is also Alexander, which is a more small community. And I know a lot of people who have had really great experiences there as well. I can't remember the fourth one off the top of my head, but I believe there is also a fourth small hall that is freshman.
Yeah,
It's
Lord.
Lord.
Oh, okay.
I didn't live in a freshman dorm personally. Well, I guess I don't live. I'm still there. I'm there right now. I live in Sawyer Hall. I moved in early with the Paul Scholars program, and so then I chose to live on the Paul Scholars floor. So me and my friends, we all moved in early together, and we all lived together for that first week. And we all still live there now. But I found that really amazing because everyone on my floor was taking the same classes as me because we were all in the same business program. There are like a few sophomores, but for the most part, like I didn't really notice any difference than living in an all freshman dorm, other than just the fact that like you hear more about people living in Williamson and Christensen. But like no matter the experience, like whichever you choose, I've only heard like good things about like living in an all freshman dorm or living in a not all freshman dorm. So it's really just like your preference, I guess, like size wise, because Williamson and Christensen are kind of big and they're on like one side of campus. So like you might not want to choose to live there if like most of your classes are like in the business school or something like that. But it's really just up to what your personal preference is. And honestly, UNH and like housing does a really great job to make sure that you're happy wherever you are. So even if you move in somewhere and you're like, I don't really love this, UNH housing takes great care of you. I have a friend that didn't love the hall he was in, and he got moved to a single in another hall, and he is stoked about it. So UNH housing does a great job no matter what.
Yeah. And then just one last note about housing. Every other residence hall besides those first year only dorm, every other residence hall does reserve 25% of that space for first year students. So it is possible, like it's not just like a fever dream. They're like, oh, I want to live like in Stoke, or I want to live like in Fairchild, or I want to live, in Handler. You definitely do have your options even as a first year student. Great. So we do have another question, and they ask, what is your favorite part about orientation? So I guess that's kind of like a big question. I know that there's so many great parts. But for me, I would have to say I did the 2-day session. And I think the biggest thing for me was just like how everything was just like pace. I felt the day was structured really well. Like they definitely were. It's like a very exciting, very action-packed like 2 days, but I felt the activities just were very fun, and it really allowed for like, yeah, like, oh, here's learning a lot about like my college, so College of Liberal Arts, but here's also a great way to play some games with the friends you just met. So I really just found that nice balance of how everything was just structured. It just felt natural. And yeah, my favorite part was just meeting new people, and just like really just like this was just like the first big thing after like the May 1st deadline. So
I think for me, I could very well say the same thing as Noah, but I think that a big part of it for me is like the whole school spirit part of it. You will hear a lot of people yelling and screaming. I know MJ is going to get a lot of this during orientation training. If you do not know any UNH chants, by the end of orientation, you 100% will. And you will hear a lot of people who are very, very excited about it. I genuinely am so happy whenever I hear someone say it's a great day to be a wildcat. So that I think was like a big part of it that made me feel really at home, was that everyone was super excited to be at UNH. Because I feel like that is really nice.
I have a super lame answer. My favorite part, I don't know if you can hear the bells through my AirPods, but it is 4:30, so the clock tower is going off. But my favorite part about orientation was my orientation leader. It's very like cliche lame of me. That is actually the reason I like decided to apply to be an orientation leader. But my orientation leader was so clearly comfortable at UNH and just like loved it. And it kind of made me just off the bat love UNH, and he had such like good energy. And then I joined my orientation leader's co-rec intramural volleyball team, and I like got to meet a bunch of people from that, and it was amazing. And I do plan on making my own volleyball team, so I will 100% be watching all my orientees play volleyball. I'll probably make them play volleyball, but so I will be like scouting. But just like meeting an upperclassman who really loved UNH was so amazing to me. And so I'm going to try to do that this summer. Woo!
MJ, I have been dying to ask, who was your orientation leader?
It was Tom, like tour guide Tom. Yeah,
I love Tom. Thank you.
Everyone
I'm so glad to hear it.
Everyone knows Tom. He is like an icon at UNH. In my eyes, he's like a UNH celebrity.
Yes.
Because he's also everywhere. But he was hilarious, and it honestly just put like only positive thoughts of UNH in my head. So it was a great time. It was amazing.
yeah, I remember my orientation leader. They just a lot of like debates, like if you put a straw in a hot pocket, like is that a juice box? It's just like these just like trivial, just like little things. And it was just the orientation leader, they really just do like make a big impact, and just they really, yeah, the chance, like you really will know the chance. And it is every day is it's a great day to be a wildcat. Every day is a great day. Every day is a great day to be a wildcat. So awesome. Great. So we do have a couple questions here in the chat. These are more so regarding freshman year. I don't have a lot of experience with this one, so if you guys do, great. If you don't, no problem. But this is for honor students. The question is, how would you recommend non-honors first-year students who are aiming to be admitted in the honors program for the second semester? So I'm not too sure. I don't know if any of you guys.
Um, I like don't have firsthand experience with this, so if Rebecca does, like she can take over. I was admitted to the honors program when I got here. So I think the one thing would be keeping on top of your classes. Like you like definitely can do it. You can make the grade. Just like so doing well in your classes and then meeting with first year advisor from whatever college you were in to kind of let them know your plan. They would definitely be able to help you. And then they can also put you in contact with an honors advisor. So I met with my honors advisor last semester as an honors student anyway, just like go over my plan. But like, so kind of taking initiative and getting ahead of the game, just talking to like advisors and being like, by the way, this is what I want to do. And I think that would like definitely put you ahead for applying second semester. I don't have like firsthand experience. So if that like, if anyone has firsthand experience, that like would be like better.
I also came into the honors program just outright. But I do know a couple people who they got offered. I know it's within a certain percentile of like your major, you will get offered into the honors program. So, and I know a lot of your classes will be more introductory level. And sort of like what MJ was saying is making sure that you're talking to people about it. So if you're struggling in your class, but you're like, I really need to make the grade, I really want to be in the honors program, going to office hours, things like that, and sort of making like the connections with your professors to be succeeding in academia. But also, I also encourage you, if you want to reach out to anyone from the honors program. I know that oftentimes like they are open to hearing about students. If like you're really excited and you really want to be in it, I highly encourage you just to reach out to someone in the honors program and see what they can do for you, because they may offer you. Because I've heard of people petitioning, but yeah.
Yeah, so students who are not initially invited to the honors program can be invited to the honors program. I believe it's after your first semester if you rank in the top 10% of your class. But in addition to being invited to the honors, you can also petition, as Rebecca mentioned, to be part of the honors program.
Great, thank you. So we do have another question here in the chat. This is a great question. So this is kind of more geared towards like the parents of orientation, and they ask, what will parents participate in during orientation? Is it all day like the students?
So yes, I know parents are given a lot more free time throughout the day to sort of walk around, things like that. They do try to keep students and parents separate. I remember that for last year, we had students going into the Whittemore Center, which is our hockey arena, and the parents are going to the gym. And so we had a lot of people like making sure that like you were saying your goodbyes and things like that for the day. And so they do have a lot of sessions, and they do have a similar structure for parents as well. I'm not 100% sure about how late the parent session will go for 2 days. Because I remember when my parents did it, they were very tired afterwards, but I didn't really talk or see them much in the transition between days. But so your parents will have plenty to do, and they will also get acquainted with UNH.
Sweet. Awesome. Yeah, no, my parents were definitely, my dad was exhausted after orientation. I was too with the 2-day session. Oops. So great. So just looking at the questions here. What? I guess, oh yeah. So what is your favorite tradition at UNH? I guess this can be bigger than an orientation one, or maybe maybe something students can think about and they can look forward to coming into UNH. For me, I think my favorite UNH traditions is it involves all of our hockey games. So if you at all of the home hockey games, if UNH scores first, one lucky student is chosen to toss a piece of dead fish like onto the rink, and it's just I'm not sure exactly how it started, but it's been going on for a long time, and it just the lights will turn off. And then when everything's ready, the music will start playing, the lights will turn back on, and students in like a yellow hazmat suit, and they'll just toss a piece of fish just right onto the ice. But yeah, that's just one of my favorite traditions, and it's just like one of my favorites. So I don't know if you guys have any where you guys are, but
I think that my favorite is like, so if you've not been to campus or you haven't seen any pictures, we have a wildcat statue outside of the Whittemore Center. And I think that my favorite thing is the whole thing about touching the cat's nose for good luck. I've heard people debate on whether it actually gives you good luck or not, but I genuinely just like to do it. Also, I highly encourage you to take pictures with the wildcat. I am a sucker for a good cheesy photo. So I made all of my groups last year take photos as long as they wanted to. But I also do that on tours as well. So
that's my favorite tradition as well. I am a wholehearted believer that touching the wildcat's nose is good luck. I like one that we don't have like bad superstitions on campus. Like there's nothing where it's like if you step on like the seal, you're gonna like fail your finals unless you like run super far. Like I am from Ohio, so a lot of places in Ohio have that kind of stuff. But we only have like good vibes here at UNH. And I fully believe that touching the wildcat's nose is good luck. I was on a tour and I was like demonstrating touching the wildcat's nose. I finished the tour and I got the orientation leader job. Did it again the next tour. And when I finished my tour, I got this research grant. That's how I sell touching the wildcat's nose, because I was like, I got $3,000 touching the wildcat's nose. Like maybe you will. And then I did it again Friday, my tour Friday, and then on Saturday I won the URC with my freshman business team. So I can literally only see Rebecca, and so like I appreciate that. But yeah, so I fully believe that it's good luck. I also think it's really cute that you like touch wildcat's nose and then go through the arches of orientation, and then you become a wildcat, and then at commencement, like graduation, you like do the reverse of that and you like leave the arches and you touch the nose for good luck. I think that's so cute. I'm a sucker for that. Really terrifying that I'm like done with freshman year, so like graduation is only in like 3 years, but like still favorite tradition. I love that. Good UNH vibes. Yeah.
well, congratulations, MJ. That is awesome for the URC. But yeah, no, the Wildcat statue, that really is like the big centerpiece on campus. And yeah, when you walk under there, or when you pat the cat, when you pat that nose, and then when you walk under the arches, when you walk under those arches and you like high-fiving everyone, like all the administrative staff and like all the students and all the orientation, it's just like wow, like you really just feel like you go under the arch and you come out a wildcat, and that really is what UNH is all about. So great. I guess we do have one last question here. It's kind of a general question, but what does UNH have like to other mid-sized schools, like medium-sized schools? So I guess I can start with this. For me, my favorite part about campus is how walkable everything is. From one end of campus to the other, that's about a 15-minute walk. Downtown Durham, that's about a 10-minute walk away from where I live on campus. There's tons of great restaurants, like coffee shops. There's a store. Hannaford is like the local chain. If I ever need to get some snacks, ever need to do anything down there, like it's super close. And going from class to class, it's never been more than a 5-minute walk. And even starting at my dorm, going to my furthest class, never been more than a 10-minute walk. So that's my favorite thing. It's like driving in, it feels like a big school, but when you really walk, it's just like, oh, this is not bad. So
I'm obsessed with UNH, so I'm like a few things. One, I am like super like outgoing, so this could be like the cause of that, but like I leave my dorm and no matter where I go, I always see at least one person I know. But like that being said, I am able to like avoid people I don't want to see. Like for the most part, there's a chance they're avoiding me. I don't know. Maybe they're like better. Anyway, it's like the perfect size school. Two, it is an immaculate location. I am from Ohio. So I grew up in Rhode Island though. So it was always annoying to me when people were like, oh, let's go to the beach. And then they would go to Lake Erie. I was like, that's so stupid. We're an hour from Boston. We are so close to the ocean here, like 20 minutes from Portsmouth, which is like, if you haven't been to Portsmouth, it's like a picturesque New England town with lots of places you can spend your money. And then also like they're right on the ocean. So, and then you're also right by Mount Washington and all those kind of mountain things. So if you like skiing, if you like hiking, if you like swimming, if you like spending money, UNH is perfect location. Yeah, that's those are my takes.
MJ, if I didn't already go here, I think you convinced me. I do have to agree with you on like it paper wise, it looks like a really big school. Like when you actually get here though, it has such like a small school kind of feel, I feel like, because I'll be talking to one of my friends and they'll mention someone and I'll be like, oh, which Matt are you talking about? Oh, I know him from this thing. How do you know him? And it's very easy to sort of like build those connections here at UNH, which I feel like I don't hear a lot of my other friends talking about who go to other schools. And I do highly agree about location. There is also more like within campus. I think my favorite thing to like see is we have a giant like river that goes through the center of campus. There's a lot of like little bridges and stuff. And it is so like peaceful and calming to look at. And I really like water. I like being by the ocean. So that was like a very beautiful thing that I didn't know we had until I got here.
Like you said, like know people, like if anyone was paying attention, like Rebecca knew my orientation leader, and I feel like even if she wasn't an orientation leader, she still would have known him. That's why I see him as like a campus celebrity, because if I talk to any upperclassmen, they know him. But then also like we're a perfect size school. Like my roommate and I, we have those like people where it's like they're like a celebrity to us or they're like a meme to us. Like my roommate texted me today and she was like, I walked by this one person who we're like obsessed with, and she was like, and he just violently sneezed. And that was like the hottest take of the day. It was hilarious. And we have like people who we like follow on Instagram, and every time they post, we're like, oh my God, because they're like a celebrity to us and they're just literally another UNH freshman. It gives you get to have those like smaller school, almost like high school level, like iconic people. But then also like you don't have to have that. Everyone here is just like a normal person too. And it's awesome. Of course, I'm super biased. I'm a huge fan of UNH, but yeah, iconic people. And you get to see like your friend groups, like iconic person, you get to see them violently sneeze. And then you can text your roommate about it. And it completely made my day. So yeah, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, there's so many things happening here on campus. There's so many things to get involved with. We do have two questions, kind of similar. This one, just say you might have a better, this might better guidance towards you. But someone asked, are there class selection counselors that like a student can get in contact like before orientation? Is there anything like they can contact? Like I think that would be like I'd like their admissions counselor, but I don't know if there's somebody else.
Yeah, usually the academic advisor would be the best person if you're wanting to kind of get an understanding of what classes you would be taking as a first year student. I don't know if the assignments have been made yet, because I know it's during orientation that you'll have the opportunity to be connected with an academic advisor. But if you have general questions, we can certainly try to help you as well
Awesome.
in the admissions
Great.
office.
Sweet, thank you. And then we do have another question here. Can you double major between schools? So for instance, could I double major in economics and English?
Funny you ask. I'm an economics major. I'm an analytical. That's literally just an adjective. I'm an economics major. I originally was an economics and political science major, which is College of Liberal Arts, which is what English is. I decided to switch, so I'm double majored in statistics instead, but you definitely can. I am doing it. It depends on the major. Like I think like some of them might be harder, like nursing might be a little more difficult, but especially economics. Economics is a really great one to pair with other majors, and your course load, like if you look at like what classes you have to take, and some colleges do out like a 4-year plan for you with that major. It's like completely doable even if it's in a different college. So you just would have like 2 advisors instead of one, like one advisor per college you're in. So like a Paul advisor and then a CLOLA, College of Liberal Arts advisor. So super doable, and then also a super good fun idea. Yay.
Great. Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, so it definitely does depend, you know, like what major you are and what the other major you want to go into. But the best, but in this scenario, your best resource when the time comes around, talk with your advisor. Your academic advisor is, they're the golden ticket. They really will help you out with everything that you need for all of your classes and stuff like that. So looks like we don't have any more questions coming in. I think that's it for this. Does anyone have anything else that any last minute things that anybody wants to add on about orientation, anything like that? MJ?
If you come to orientation, please say hi to me, because I've been telling every tour I give and every like admitted student I meet, please say hi to me, because I love meeting people, and I would love to meet anyone who like actually like possibly watched me embarrass myself. I don't really know, but like anyone who watched this, like please say hi. And it like really makes my day to like hear if like people did these things, because I did them, and it was like exciting to meet the people.
I kind of want to be cheesy and say, if no one has said this to you, welcome to UNH. Congratulations on being a Wildcat if you're admitted.
And I just want to throw out a reminder also, the enrollment deposit date is May 1st. So you'll want to mark that on your calendar for those of you who have not yet decided.
Oops, great. Ooh, we do have one last question. And this is, two more questions, but this question is one of my favorites. What is your favorite dining hall? So for me, my favorite dining hall, I gotta say Holloway Commons, which is in our memorial, which is, I know people, you're gonna say, I know you're gonna say Phil or Becca. I gotta say Holloway Commons. They just have like a rotating like potato bar, like burger bar. But Philbrook, which I know Becca, she's gonna defend to the death. That is the best. That is a great one as well. But I'm definitely, I've been feeling Hoko recently. So
I do got to shout out the potato bar at Hoko. I will give them that. But I like Philly better. I think the vibes are so much better. Hoko's very bright.
that's true.
I have counter offer of that. Vibes at Hoko are better because there's always people you know, and it's awesome. But Philly is better because they have chicken tenders every day. And also you don't have to like make your own wrap. This is super lazy of me, but they make your wrap for you. And they make my chicken tender wrap for me, which is like double whammy. But I also live near Hoko, and I'm still able to go to Philly. So it doesn't matter where you live. Food's good. We're award-winning dining. Yeah, so then soon you'll be able to have your own preference, and you can join the campus-wide debate of which one's better.
It is an endless and is an ongoing. You will be trying to figure it out for your 4 years here. Great. Oh, so we do have another question. This is kind of geared more towards Chisette, but the question is there a language requirement to graduate at UNH?
I think that it's depending on the major. I think for students who are majoring in COLA, there may be 2 language requirements, whereas the other college division, I believe it's 1.
Great. Awesome. Well, that doesn't look like we have any more questions coming up here in the chat. I just want to say thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. If you guys do have any questions at all leading up to orientation or just about admissions, please feel free to email us at admissions@unh.edu. You'll be able to talk, you'll be able to figure out your admissions counselor, and you'll really be able to get all of that additional information. So great. Thanks everyone so much for watching, and I hope that you all have a great rest of your night.